All right, let's talk about a document that can scare even the most experienced investors, the annual report. But I want you to forget about it being some dry, boring legal thing. Instead, think of it as a treasure map. Let's dive in, and I'll show you exactly how to become a financial treasure hunter. And yeah, I get it. You open this thing up, and it's hundreds of pages of dense text, tiny numbers. It's just overwhelming. And you know what most people do? They just skip it entirely. But that's a huge mistake, because they're missing all the clues to what a company is really all about.
So let's completely flip the script on this. From right now, this document is your treasure map. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the key, the legend that shows you exactly where X marks the spot and where all the most valuable gold is buried.
Every treasure hunt has to start somewhere, right? Usually at the beginning of the map. But here's a little secret. Not every part of the map is equally important. Let's figure out how to blast through these opening pages and find what actually matters.
Okay, so here's your cheat code for the first 10 or 20 pages. First off, you can pretty much skip all the AGM notices and those big, fluffy vision statements. That's usually just marketing talk. Next, take a quick peek at the index, just to get the lay of the land. But then, this is where you stop and pay attention, find the company history, and any big, juicy charts. That's where the real story kicks off. Something as simple as this timeline can tell you so much. The company history page gives you the whole journey in a nutshell. For a company like Zydus Wellness, you can immediately spot the game-changing moves, these major acquisitions that literally shaped the company into what it is today. And boom, this is the kind of gold I'm talking about, just hiding in plain sight right at the beginning. These charts can reveal how totally dominant a company is. Just look at this. Sugar-free has 94% of its market. That's not just a product, my friends. That is a fortress. This one chart tells you way more than pages and pages of text ever could. Okay, so we've got our bearings. Next up, we get to hear the story straight from the people in charge, the company's management. This is where you really start to uncover their strategy.
The really crucial thing here is to look for the why. The chairman's letter isn't just saying that they bought Heinz, it's explaining why they did it. They're telling you how it's going to make them stronger, by improving their scale, by helping them get their products into more stores. This is a direct look into how they think.
Now be careful here. It's so easy to get distracted by the shiny financial highlights page. It looks great, but it's basically a marketing tool designed to show you only the good news. The real treasure, the more balanced story, is buried a little deeper in the management discussion and analysis, or the MDA. That section gives you the whole picture, not just the company, but the entire industry.
Every good treasure map has warnings, right? The parts marked with skulls and crossbones. Well, in an annual report, finding these warnings is just as important as finding the treasure itself.
One of the most important warnings to search for is something called contingent liabilities. Sounds complicated, I know, but it's really simple. It's just money the company might have to pay out in the future. It's not a definite loss, but it's a potential pothole on the road ahead you need to know about.
And here's exactly why this matters. For Zydus, there's a potential 65 crore rupee liability hanging over their heads from a sales tax dispute. You won't find this number on the main balance sheet. It's a hidden trap, buried in the notes of the report. And it's a huge risk. Remember that MD&A section? Well, it's also the place where the company is legally required to tell you everything that could go wrong. They have to list the biggest risks to their business. This section is an absolute goldmine of information, telling you exactly what challenges they're worried about, from competition to a slowing economy.
All right, so we've looked at the strategy and we've looked at the risks. Now let's analyze the people who are actually steering the ship. Who owns this company? And more importantly, are their interests aligned with yours? The shareholding pattern is such a critical clue. Here, we can see that the promoters, that's the founders and their families, they own 67% of Zydus. That is a very strong signal. It means they have a ton of skin in the game. Their financial success is completely tied to the company's success.
So, what about the CEO's pay? It's always a good idea to see if management is being reasonable. In this case, the CEO's salary is about 7.25 crore. But the legal maximum they could have taken, based on profits, was almost 44 crore. The fact that they're taking just a fraction of what's allowed tells you a lot about the company culture.
So there you have it. We've gone from the front of the map to the back, uncovering strategy, market power, hidden risks, and who's in charge. Now let's just boil this all down into your own personal treasure hunting checklist. Here it is, your 7-point checklist. Use this every single time you open an annual report. Check the company history for the backstory. Find the market share data for proof of their power. Read the chairman's letter to understand the strategy. Dive into the MD&A for the outlook and risks. Check the shareholding pattern to see who's in control.
managerial pay for the incentives, and finally, contingent liabilities to find those hidden traps. So, now you have the tools. You know that an annual report isn't some scary monster. It's an adventure waiting to happen. The only question left is this. On your next treasure hunt, which section are you going to dig into first? Happy hunting!